This is CBS News New York.
Breaking news, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is coming to an end as the network announces it is retiring the most watched show in late night. Good evening, I'm Christine Johnson. After more than 3 decades on the air right here on CBS, The Late Show will end its run next year. As Dick Brennan reports, host Stephen Colbert made the stunning announcement during a taping of Tonight's Show at the Ed Sullivan Theater.
Before we start the show, I want to let you know something that I found out just last night. Next year will be our last season. The network will be ending The Late Show in May. And
tonight, Stephen Colbert broke the news to his audience that The Late Show, a staple of late-night television, will be ending.
yeah, I share your feelings. It's not just the end of our show, but it's the end of The Late Show on CBS. I'm not being replaced. This is all just going away.
Today's show featured Democratic Senator Adam Schiff of California. He posted about the show's cancellation on social media, writing, "If Paramount and CBS ended The Late Show for political reasons, the public deserves to know and deserves better." Colbert has been an outspoken critic of President Trump and recently criticized Paramount's decision to settle a lawsuit with Mr. Trump, which Paramount has maintained is completely without merit. Paramount is also aiming to finalize a merger with Skydance Media, which needs FCC approval. In a statement, CBS said, "We are proud that Stephen called CBS home. He and the broadcast will be remembered in the pantheon of greats that graced late-night television. This is purely a financial decision against a challenging backdrop in late night. It is not related in any way to the show's performance, content, or other matters happening at Paramount." Colbert began hosting The Late Show in 2015, taking over the duties from David Letterman, who held Comedy Court since 1993.
If you think about it, all I really did was take the summer off.
Tonight outside the Ed Sullivan Theater, fans reacted to the news.
I've been watching the show ever since it came on. I remember watching the Colbert Report, and then when he moved to CBS, taking over for one of the greatest of all time, David Letterman.
We love Stephen Colbert. We came to New York and we came to the show last night. Sorry to hear it's going to be canceled.
In his statement to his audience, Colbert thanked CBS for giving him his chair at the Ed Sullivan Theater, and he also said he's grateful to the audience who joined him all these years. Christine, the end of an era.
Absolutely, over 3 decades on this network.
Unbelievable.
Dick, thank you. To hear more of Colbert's announcement, you can watch The Late Show tonight at 11:35, right after our 11 o'clock broadcast. And now to some more breaking news happening here tonight. President Trump directed Attorney General Pam Bondi to seek the release of grand jury testimony related to the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking case. The president posted about the decision on Truth Social following days of calls to release the files. Bondi says the Department of Justice will petition the court tomorrow to unseal the grand jury transcripts. It's unclear what material the Trump administration will be asked to be released. Turning now to your first alert forecast. It's a change that we're going to like tomorrow, and we're certainly going to feel it. Lonnie Quinn with more on how it's not going to be so hot and muggy and humid.
There you go. It's not going to feel so hot. I think temperature readings tomorrow will still be into the 80s, but it's just going to be a better air mass. So here's our picture outside right now. 86 degrees, feels like 87. Still have some humidity out there, but what we're tracking, the heat advisory, fini, done. It has been allowed to expire. We've got this cold front approaching and pushing through the area tonight. That is the mechanism that will drop the humidity. I keep referring to it as a squeegee, right? It's going to come through, take the humidity out. A return of rain and storms is in the forecast now for Saturday night. There's a little bit of change than what we saw yesterday. Right now, your temperature is 86 degrees in the city. You're 84 Toms River, 86 Greenwich. Look at this, though. See these colors in green and yellow? That's a better feeling air mass, 73 right now in Monticello, and we're all going to do better tomorrow. Dew points, you're 63 in the city, 70 or above is oppressive. Well, look at this, south of the area, a 77-degree dew point in Brick and Toms River. I mean, come on, that gets erased tomorrow. Overnight, 73. That humidity falls, you get into your day tomorrow. You ready for this? A dew point in, I believe, the 50s, upper 50s, but 85 will feel like 85. Good-looking sky overhead in relief. It's on the way. KJ, it's all yours.
Okay, Lonnie, thank you. Now following up on our lead story from last night, as we now hear from friends and family of the group struck by lightning at an archery range in New Jersey. One man died and several young Cub Scout members were hurt. Naveen Dhaliwal has more now on that, and also what lightning experts are saying about staying safe.
It happened in an instant just after 7 p.m. Wednesday.
It was a flash. I thought it was a bomb. And that was it. I was on the ground.
A bolt of lightning at the Black Knights Bowbenders Archery Range in Jackson Township, New Jersey. Tom Coopy says his 10-year-old son Ryan was one of the Cub Scouts from Troop 204 who was injured when lightning struck a tree.
I turn around and look, and there's bodies on the ground. Adults, kids, burns.
He says Ryan was knocked to his feet and rushed to the emergency room.
My boy is great. He's 10 years old. He's got second-degree burns on his foot. You know, he's recuperating on the couch.
He's grateful, but volunteer archery instructor 61-year-old Robert Montgomery was killed and more than a dozen were hurt.
I'm shaken. I'm still very upset, crying.
Club members who were instructing 11 boys and 2 girls say the strike was so powerful, one person was shot into a tree and the club's treasurer was injured as well.
He just said he got singed. Looks like he got a suntan. He sounded okay to me when I just talked to him.
Those who were there say there was no rain and no warning signs, just thunder in the distance. Charlie Woodrum with the National Weather Service says there are usually 20 lightning strike fatalities in the country each year. And so far this year, there have been 12 fatalities, 2 of them in New Jersey.
Lightning tends to strike the tallest object. It doesn't always necessarily strike the tallest object.
Further, he says the best way to protect yourself when outdoors.
Get to a lower point, avoid higher areas, taller hills, trees. You want to avoid all of the tallest objects and make your way to a fully enclosed structure.
In a statement, the Scouts of America says all of its members except one have been released from the hospital. In Jackson Township, New Jersey, Naveen Dhaliwal, CBS News, New York.
And the National Weather Service says given how common lightning strikes are, it would be considered ineffective to issue lightning alerts or warnings. They say that it could potentially reduce the effectiveness of other warnings, such as tornado warnings that do save lives and protect property. Well, the White House says the president has been diagnosed with a vein condition known as chronic venous insufficiency. The president's physician said that he underwent a health examination after he noticed swelling in his legs. Doctors say the benign and common condition occurs when veins in the legs struggle to allow blood to flow back up to the heart. The White House says the president remains in overall good health. A dozen immigrants are suing the Trump administration for its practice of arresting asylum seekers at their immigration hearings. Allie Bauman spoke to a mother who says that her son was deported by this coordinated crackdown.
Singing and shouting with my mind. Thousands of people rallied in Lower Manhattan Thursday night, protesting the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. In the crowd, we met Trini, a mother who in Spanish told us her adult son was deported to Honduras last month.
Porque solo él tenía él aquí. Ahora me quedo sola, sin nadie.
He is all I have, she says. Now I am alone. Her son, she tells us, was taken into custody at a court hearing for his asylum case.
When we met Trini, she was really worried. She was sitting on a bench crying.
Mariposa Benitez is one of several volunteers who have been assisting families daily at immigration court since the spring, when the Department of Homeland Security began routinely arresting immigrants there.
They are following the due process that they were promised.
This week, a coalition of immigration attorneys filed a class action lawsuit against the Trump administration over this very practice.
The lawsuit is filed on behalf of 12 asylum seekers who all showed up to their scheduled court hearings and were detained, most of them taken into custody in the courthouse.
The suit claims plaintiffs have been abruptly ripped from their families, lives, homes, and jobs for appearing in immigration court, a step required to enable them to proceed with their applications for permission to remain in this country.
So what is illegal about this?
So many things are illegal about this process.
Karen Zwick is lead attorney on the case.
The Immigration and Nationality Act that Congress passed creates a process. It says this is how the procedures should go. And the government is just sort of pulling that entire rug out from under folks who are here to seek protection.
In a statement, a DHS spokesperson called arresting immigrants in courthouses common sense, saying in part, nothing in the Constitution prohibits arresting a lawbreaker where you find them. It conserves valuable law enforcement resources because they already know where the target will be. Allie Bauman, CBS News, New York.
Still ahead here at 11 tonight, a man actually sucked into an MRI machine and critically injured. How this happened and the warning from doctors. Also, another man seen appearing to work on a car at an auto shop. The problem here, that auto shop doesn't have a license to operate. Tonight, our follow-up to a CBS News New York investigation. And later, a centuries-old tradition, the big crowds for tonight's lifting of the Giglio. But first, here's Otis with what's coming up in sports.
All right, Christine, the Yankees and Mets may be on the All-Star break, but they're still busy introducing the first-round draft picks who they hope will have bright futures in New York. And speaking of the Mets, they may soon have another official captain to lead them. If you believe social media, it could happen in a couple days.
A man was critically hurt after being pulled off his feet and then drawn into an MRI machine. This happened at a medical building on Old Country Road in Westbury. Nassau Open MRI, which has several locations. Police say a 61-year-old man went into a scanning room unauthorized after hearing screams from a relative inside. The injured man was reportedly wearing a metallic necklace, which was pulled by the magnetic device. The center did decline request for comment, but doctors at North Shore University Hospital explained what happens when protocols aren't followed.
Dangers could be catastrophic, and again underscores why we have all the safety precautions in place. If this was a chain that was wrapped around the neck, I could imagine any kind of strangulation injuries that could happen, asphyxiation, cervical spine injuries.
The Nassau Police Homicide Squad is now investigating. A license suspension, a fine from the state, and a series of CBS News New York investigations apparently isn't enough to get a Brooklyn auto repair shop to follow the law. We first brought you this story back in February when customers said that the shop was holding their cars hostage. Now investigative reporter Tim McNicholas found the shop is working on cars again, but without a license to do so.
You working on cars in there or no?
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Are you working on cars in there or no? State-to-state automotive manager Stephen Ventura doesn't hide how he feels about the rules. He wears it on his shirt.
I feel like I deserve a fair hearing.
You're in a hearing.
But an administrative law judge didn't appreciate that philosophy during this virtual hearing in May with Ventura and a DMV inspector.
There still has to be work order. So anytime a vehicle comes in, a work order must be written up for the vehicle, regardless of any work.
Excuse me, Mr. Ventura, you interrupt me one more time, I'm going to mute you.
You don't know where his car went? That hearing stemmed in part from a CBS News New York investigation in February.
I'm not paying no stories. I don't care what you say. I get in the car back.
When customers Louis Dennery and Sarah Lee Ramsawak told us the garage held their cars hostage for months.
They won't release my car, even though they received full payment.
A month after that story aired, a DMV inspector visited the shop and said State to State failed to provide the right paperwork for Ramsawak's car and 4 others. The state suspended the shop's operating license until that virtual hearing where the DMV asked the judge for stronger punishment.
The department is seeking the suspension of the license for 6 months.
The judge agreed. State to State failed to provide work orders for 4 cars, despite arguments to the contrary from Ventura.
He said that no records were provided for that vehicle.
That's allowed. I provided all the records.
Nonetheless, the judge ruled against the longer suspension and instead fined State to State $1,000. The DMV says the shop's license expired anyway on May 31st, so it cannot legally work on cars. Yet, on July 4th, we found someone applying a heat gun to a car at the shop with the garage door on Atlantic Avenue wide open until Ventura spotted our camera, came out, and denied they're operating. You're working on a car in there right now, though.
There's nobody working on no vehicle. We're moving cars out. That's a storage yard.
But a day earlier, our producer called State to State to ask if they'd be open to work on a car, and whoever answered said yes, asking us to text pictures of the car. Another day, another rule broken. Ventura later told me they were only cleaning that car, but a heat gun isn't typically used for cleaning. In the automotive world, it's often used for paint jobs and detailing. As for Dennery and Ramsawak, as we have reported, the shop finally returned both their cars after we started asking questions, Christine.
So they have both their cars returned, thankfully. But what is the DMV going to do now that you have this video?
Well, they say they're looking into it, and we're going to be following up with them for sure.
All right, Tim. Thank you for that update. And Tim is one of our investigative reporters, so if you have a story idea for him or our investigative team, scan the QR code there on your screen. You may see your story on air. Time now to get a check of our First Alert forecast. Lonnie Quinn, as we close out a First Alert weather day, we're going to bring in some better weather tomorrow.
So much better. Let's get in a good frame of mind for a great-looking Friday. It's going to be a nice one out there. You're right. We have no more alerts to be talking about. Here's your picture outside. Temperature right now is 86 degrees. So 86 degrees at 11:19 at night is hot, all right? You were hot out there today. It was muggy as well. We're still muggy. It's all going to be changing. Here's what we expect to happen out there. The first alert for the heat is over. The first alert for the possibility for some flooding today, thankfully, never really came to pass. That's a good thing. There's a cold front that's going to be moving through the area while you're sleeping. It's going to bring relief. It's a one-day bit of relief, however, because by the time you get to Saturday, there's a warm front that treks back into the area, so you're going to be warmer on Saturday, and we do return to a chance for a rain or a thunderstorm out there on Saturday, especially late Saturday into Sunday. Then you look into next week. We got some cooler temperatures to begin the week, but it's a gradual climb back to that 90-degree mark. So sit tight here. Let's talk the dew points first. And I know sometimes I lose you when I talk dew points because what does that mean? Simply put, it's the temperature that the air's got to be cooled to produce moisture. And when you have big numbers, you don't have to cool the air that much. Well, they were up around 72 earlier today. They were 71, a 71-degree dew point at 9 p.m., and now we're down to 63. Already feeling some of those precursor effects of the cold front moving through. High temp was 92. With the humidity, it felt like 94. So not the craziest heat index we've ever had, but felt like 94. Heat indexes are put into effect when it could feel like 95 to 105. And sure enough, we were in, well, pretty close to that area today in New York City. It was like feeling like 106 today in portions of Jersey, like around Tom's River. Now, 86 feeling like 87. We'll take it. Skies, so much quieter. I don't see a problem right there. I think you can do just fine for tonight. I think you do just fine for tomorrow. Could be that change on Saturday. So here's your big picture. This prefrontal trough. All right, here's the actual front itself. Now, we thought perhaps we were going to squeeze a little bit of moisture out of this atmosphere. There's a little bit out there. I just don't see it happening. I think our atmosphere is in the process of drying out. I don't think it's going to materialize. I feel good about tonight. I feel great about your day tomorrow. So here's how it's going to work out. Cold front is dropping through. You're sleeping. Here we are, 7 a.m., 73 degrees in the city, 62 tomorrow in Monticello. That's at 7 a.m. Here we are. Heating of the day, maximum temperature 84. You're 77, not getting out of the 70s in Monticello tomorrow. How do we see the whole thing playing out? Well, as far as dew points go, they're going to be crashing as well. Heating of your day tomorrow, you're looking at a dew point of about 57. So let's pull up the 7-day forecast. I'm going to talk you through everything. I think tomorrow is the pick of the week, 85 degrees. So it's not like you've got a real chilly temperature. It's just the fact that you've erased, and I mean really erased the humidity. Humidity yesterday in some spots, a dew point of 81. I showed you tomorrow's going to be in the upper 50s. It's like a refreshing, almost springtime feel to the air. 85 is still hot. All right, it just doesn't feel bad. 84 Saturday, especially Saturday night into Sunday, could be shower or storm chance. And you get to Sunday night, it's the same sort of thing out there. And then by next week, mid-80s, climbing up to about 90 degrees.
Okay, we'll enjoy tomorrow.
I think you're going to love it.
Thank you, Lonnie. Coming up, are the Mets on the verge of a major announcement? Plus, Otis will also tell you why Rory McIlroy is feeling right at home at the Open Championship next.
This is CBS Sports New York, sponsored by your local Ford stores.
Francisco Lindor may have a new title when the Mets start the second half of the season. Instead of being known as Mr. Smile, he'll be Captain Smile.
Go, we go. That is Lindor with these Mets.
If Carlos Mendoza and the organization wants to drop a C on him, it makes sense.
Ooh, that was a part of a video that was uploaded yesterday to MLB.com and then quickly taken down. It was titled Captains of New York. It seems to show the Mets will soon name Lindor the 5th captain in franchise history. Maybe even this Saturday when former captain David Wright's number 5 is retired. You know, a way for the old captain to pass the torch to the new captain. We'll stay on that story. From the captain to the new kid in town, the Mets have signed their first-round pick, Mitch Voigt. He's expected to put on the amazing jersey for the first time tomorrow, but I was able to catch up with the utility player from the University of Michigan, and he told me what he's looking forward to most when he gets to play in New York.
Honestly, it was the fans. I know how much they care, and I absolutely love it, and I want to play for a team that really cares about their baseball team. And I know the Mets, you know, for better or worse, they're going to let you hear what they have to say. I absolutely love that.
They sure will let you know, huh? One pick after the Mets selected Voigt, number 38, the Yankees went to the high school ranks for their pick at 39. That's when they took Dax Kilby, a shortstop from the Atlanta area. He's expected to sign tomorrow, but it was a private workout in New York that made him feel at home.
I felt like I was very welcomed, and I really loved everything about the Yankees organization while I was down here. And just leading up to the draft, I knew that I just wanted to be a part of this organization. So this was the team I was hoping for going into the draft.
And he got his wish. All right, first round action from the Open Championship in Northern Ireland, where countryman Rory McIlroy shot a 1-under par. He's tied for 20th. Rory looking to add another major to his 2025 season, along with his Masters, which gave him the career Grand Slam. And look who turned back the clock today. 55-year-old Phil Mickelson. Lefty finished under par for the first time in 2 years at a major. He's 1 under. Scotty Scheffler, to no one's surprise, is right in the thick of things, although he's probably thinking about what's for dinner. 5 birdies and 2 bogeys leaves him at 3 under, just 1 back of 5 golfers, including Englishman and major champion Matt Fitzpatrick. Nothing but cup right there. Count it for birdie. He's in the lead pack at 4 under.
Oh, my. Thank you, Otis. We'll be right back. A centuries-old Italian tradition paraded through the streets of Williamsburg tonight. Huge crowds came out for the lifting of the Giglio. The annual event, with a 78-foot-tall tower at the center, commemorates the story of St. Paulinus. The faithful believe back in the 4th century, he gave himself up as ransom for women and children who were held captive in the Mediterranean.
Night lift is like New Year's Eve in July. Right? New Year's Eve in Williamsburg. A few minutes, we're going to light some fireworks, and we're going to blow it up, and we're going to dance the Gia down the block.
My grandfather was in this feast. This is in my blood. Christmas in July.
Another Giglio lift is scheduled for Sunday in Williamsburg. We'll be right back. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is next. Thank you for joining us here at 11. I'm Christine Johnson. For Otis and Lonnie and the entire team, good night.